Hi, I'm Gary Smith, and welcome to today's Home Inspector Vendor Spotlight. I have Pat Butler here today. Pat's from Manhattan, Kansas, and he wants to talk about some software opportunities that he has he'd love to make an offer for you guys. And so, how you doing, Pat?
Every day is Christmas. How you do, kind sir?
Every day, ho, ho, ho. So Pat's company is called Tallgrass Home Inspections, and Pat, tell us what you got going on over there in the Kansas area. By the way, what is it? The home of the KSU Wildcats?
Yes, sir. If you're watching it right now, you can see I've done my K-State purple, my purple and my white.
10-4.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If enough people go ahead and send me an email, I'll sing the KSU fight song. So
look out now. Okay, super. Well, what you got going on in Kansas?
Well, basically, just a little bit about ourselves. I'm retired military. So basically, I live outside of a major post here in Kansas, which is Fort Riley, home of the Big Red One. And, it was a great place to, it was a great place. It's one of those little Army best kept secrets. It's right in the middle of, right dead smack in Northeast Kansas in the Flint Hills, and beautiful country. It was low crime rate. Since you're close to since the post was close to the university, great place to raise your kids as far as education. I've already said about the low crime. It's a place that you could still leave your car in your front door unlocked at night.
There you go. If it don't get blown away by the next tornado that comes in. Is that near Tornado Alley?
Yes, right in Tornado Alley.
Dead center, Tornado Alley.
So anyways, we just love the area. We wanted to give the kids a hometown to say that, you're from here, instead of being like most military kids. Well, I'm from all over. I'm from Germany. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from the West Coast. So Kansas was just a really great stop. So at that point, my wife and I, we decided to go ahead and plant our stakes right here and let the kids grow up and, have that hometown appeal, and just know that they're from somewhere. So
right. Sure.
Upon military, I had to figure out what to do. And, I bought my first house, and it was such a nightmare. It was really hard. It just seems like, there's a lot of folks that's out there who, without pulling too much punches, pretty much prey on the military. They know that you're going to be in and out for a while. You're not going to be there too long. So military in a lot of towns, unfortunately, are still treated like second-class citizens. So, I spent 21 years in the military. So it's like, I wanted to help families, which is what I did in the Army, to take care of the soldiers and their families, to help them live their lives while they're fighting a good fight.
Right.
So home inspections just became a vehicle to do that, so I could still continue to be doing my Army job, which is taking care of soldiers and their families, but now just from a civilian standpoint or from a retiree standpoint, that I do it, and I can just teach them how to buy a home, how to live in a home, how to maintain a home, and keep up the value. So if they move somewhere else, or if they decide to keep it and rent it, they always have a plan. So they're not really pretty much getting ran over by some people who are just a little bit more unscrupulous. There's a lot of great people out there, but when you get that money pit and that you fall upon deaf ears because you're a soldier, you're only going to be here for a year or two, and after that you're going to be gone. It really, it was a nice way to segue between military and civilian life and still do the things that I love, which is taking care of soldiers and families. So that's where I kind of stake my pole,
Right. Yeah. And you recently have become partners with a fella in Australia. Tell us about that.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, before I say anything else, there's very few people in the world. I try my best to be a mentor for young inspectors and, kind of help them along and let them answer questions in a safe environment. And there's some people that I can call without a question and know that I'll get an answer, even if they may know the answer or not. There's no question beneath them. They will not, make you feel less than a person because you're asking a question that you just want to. If you just want to be sure of yourself and make sure that you're saying the right thing. Gary is one of them. Gary has done that a long time ago. I called him and asked him questions, and you've always been one of those type of guys that, I want to thank you, because there's not enough senior inspectors, guys who, veterans in the game for a long time, that's able to, be able to be that sounding board for a lot of young inspectors, even when I was one. And so hats off to you, sir.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is Bob Sternberg. Now, he's been a inspector and a building certifier in Queensland, Australia. If you see him, he's on the Facebook sites a lot. He is a brain. He's a great guy. He's the type of guy that you'll have a beer with, but I swear by the time you finish your beer, you're about 2 or 3 IQ points smarter, especially when it comes in the home inspection and how to maximize your business. And, what I'm saying, especially when it comes as far as business systems and also just knowledge-wise as far as code, international codes, how to incorporate that into your business so that you become more of a savvy inspector, not to use somebody else's coin. Hey, Ken, miss you, man. But Bob has, we use a lot of softwares and a lot of different tools here in the U.S. Right. And Bob's the type of guy that he makes his own. He'll turn around. He used to teach inspectors over in Australia, basically how to get them up in operation. And because of the different laws between what we do here in the West and what they do basically down under, they have more of an official role. So they have to know a lot more laws.
You're talking about inspectors. Inspectors have carry a more official role than inspectors in the U.S.
Exactly. Thank you. So he taught that for a while, and as he's taught that, he developed a lot of systems. So one of the systems that he developed with his company, which is called HomeWorthy Inspections, is he created his own reporting software. So basically, he can go in there and just quickly map out building and business systems, and he simplified it to, in my opinion, is basically an art form. He, saying you can just, with minimum words possible and with pictures and everything else, compile this into an understandable format, no matter what size or what type of building or what type of inspection you're doing. He had all these different formats that he kind of compiled everything together, and he can give it out to the client, and he did that. And that I found was amazing. So I just started to convert from my previous software over to HomeWorthy, and I'm starting to incorporate that into my business, because now I can turn around and I can do just not only residential, but I can do body corporates, or basically commercial inspections for multi-unit or just commercial units as far as warehouse or office spaces. And you can do that, and it just makes it so much easier. But now he has turned around and outdid himself again, as he created this whole platform with HomeWorthy. So now he has this one, it's called HomeWorthy Dome. And basically, if you can imagine an umbrella and all the things that you have as far as home inspectors, which you're using today on the ground, for most of the home inspectors, we have 2 or 3 different platforms. Like some of us will have a subscription for a software. We'll have a subscription for our marketing and scheduling. We'll have one as far as services. We'll have all these different services that we do to present to our clients. So basically what he did was he created it so that you have a management system all underneath one roof, and you basically, for one subscription, you can manage basically 90% of your business. The only thing it doesn't do is answer your mail or pay your taxes. It's pretty amazing.
Sounds pretty comprehensive. When using the HomeWorthy system with Dome, do you have to use something like an ISN?
Well, yes and no. You have to use it? No, you don't, because it has its own management platform. However, if you do have ISN, it it marries perfectly with ISN. So basically, if you are managing your inspections through the ISN, you can go on to HomeWorthy, and create your account and then pull
Right.
everything. Like
Right.
most inspection reports, you can pull everything into your software and use it. Well, you can do that as well. And
So it integrates with ISN, the HomeWorthy platform, or the Dome platform integrates with ISN.
Right. Yes, it does. It very much integrates, and you can use them both complementary. And what I was saying is that there's a lot of us that use the attachments along with the inspection. So you hand out your inspection. If you got additional like radon, or if you sell warranties or whatever, you'll put those into your attachments. You can sell that out. Well, the thing about Dome is that you can do the exact same thing, but it stays with the property. And that's where it really takes a real different approach to how you manage your inspection business.
So the data you collect in the process of a standard home inspection then will stay with the property. How so? And it would be accessed by others. Is that fair to say, into the future?
No. Actually, it's quite opposite. Especially this past year, we've had a lot of noise and some valid complaints about how inspectors manage or how our data was being managed. There's been a couple other sites, and I won't go into them, where we was using these systems and we was putting our clients' information in it so that we thought that we was helping our clients with some additional services, but to come to find out that information was being pulled without anybody's permission and sold to third parties. And that made a very big stink in our inspection field, because now the number one thing we always want to do is take care of our clients. And we found out that that wasn't always the case. So what Bob did with HomeWorthy is that it's double blinded. It does two things. One, all the information stays as the property. For example, you go into ISN or you go into your inspection software, the first thing you put in is client's name, client's email, the client's address. That's what you call anchor data. Basically, when they create the file, that's the one thing that's going to be constant within the file. Well, all these different vendors, insurance companies, all these other third-party sites, they want to basically get that data because they know that this person is buying a home so that they have income to use their services. So they're trying to buy that data. And what they're starting to do is buy a lot of the systems that we use so that they just collect the data. Since now they own these sites and they own these services, a lot of that stuff got pulled out and now they can sell it to third party. So there's been a really big wake-up call for the inspection community of who it is that you're basically aligning your business with as far as protecting your client's data. So what Bob did, and I apologize, I'll get to it. What Bob did is that he, instead of using the client's information as that anchor data, he uses the property address off of Google. So basically that means now that he can now redact or hide data that does not necessarily need to be transferable to a third party that can stay with the client. So if I do 123 Main Street and I'm working for John and Jane home buyer, and I have their name, property, email address, but I need to send that information out to like a contractor or HVAC tech or to somebody else, or if you're doing WinMint, you need to send that information out. and I'm not really up on as far as win mits, as far as what needs to be there. But if you have to send it to a third site, you can send the report with all the information about the house, but you can redact or pull out the client's information. So there's no more name, there's no more emails, there's no more phone numbers, there's no more personal contact. And what that does is that now if anybody wants to know any information, they have to come back to you.
So does the inspector, can he choose which data that he does not want to send out? So he could choose
Yes.
name, he could choose email, that's in the control of the inspector as he's using the particular software.
Exactly. So he can manage that. He can send out an actual true report with all the data, or he can go all the way and redact, all the critical information out of that. And now the client is once again completely anonymous in the process. You get to protect your client. And this also works as for a lot of folks that are doing pre-sales or pre-listing inspections. If you're trying to do that, the one thing you don't want to do is put up, these inspection reports with the seller's name and information and stuff like that, because now you're leaving them vulnerable, to the same, to the same boat ride. So now you can turn around and redact all that data and send it out. And it doesn't matter which software that you're using. So if you're using, for example, any software, I don't want to throw any out there, but what I'm saying, if you're using, I'll just say it, if you're using anything from A-Hit to Spector to HomeGauge or even HomeWorthy itself, you can use it, because at the end of the day, it all ends up as a PDF. So once you put it onto Dome, you'll be able to map out that information off of a PDF, and it'll flatten that information. And now you'll be able to protect your clients by redacting that, and you'll have a redacted copy for you to send out to anybody else. Mm-hmm. So that's just one of the key features. And so
far, I understand that we're talking about an inspection software. HomeWorthy has an inspection software product, and has a management system that would allow someone to hold on to the data or manage the data that you collected in the process of inspecting the home. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, and that and a bunch more. It is just so encompassing. And I'll give you another example. One of the things that we use is like a HomeGauge. Not so much HomeGauge, but I'm trying to think of the one particular site. I apologize, it slipped my HomeBinder. And I say that, where there's sites like HomeBinder that you can find out or maintain property information on that file. Well, for the same account, you can do the exact same thing in Dome. So if you want to have a complete history about that particular home, you can do that in the Dome, and that will stay with the property forever, because it is where he linked it together is that he linked it with Google Maps. So as long as there's a property address in Google Maps, that's how the system maps out these properties. So if somebody else who's on the Dome wants to see anything, or if you have your real estate agents or architects or contractors on Dome, if they want to see if there's anything that's been done on it, they'll see that 123 Main Street has files open, but they won't be able to see those files. They'll just say, okay, this house on Main Street was done by Gary Smith. He was the inspector. Here's his contact information, and we can see that there's maybe an inspection report or a building engineer report that that we can give him a call. So that keeps that home inspection company in the loop. So now if you want to turn around and say, okay, I can't give you information about that, but I can re-inspect it for you because I know more about it, that creates that new conversation and even possible regenerates revenue sources for that inspection company.
Interesting. So that sounds like a super interesting way to manage data. And where can we find, or where do home inspectors, where do they look for you? What's What's the best place to catch you?
Well, the best place to catch, to find out more, if you go onto my particular website, which is tallgrasshomeinspectors.com, you can go on there, and in the top right, there's a drop-down list. And in that drop-down list, you'll see it says Gateway to Dome. And basically, I created a whole page so that you can understand everything of what Dome does and a lot of the features that has in there. And then if you click on that, it will take you over to Dome, and it can sign your account so that you can go ahead and give that a try. The first thing is, for the first 30 days, it's completely free. You have complete free range of the Dome software and the Dome platform. If you want to know more about it, because I have not yet finished setting up tutorials here in North America, you can go back onto HomeWorthyInspections.com and click on how-to videos, and it'll explain everything in there of how to set up your free account, how to set up an account for any real estate agents that you want to work close to and get them onto it, because it's a great benefit to them. And there's going to be some monster features that's about to come out this next week. So if you're doing pre-sale inspections and you really want to give yourself and any real estate agent that you want to work with as far as pre-sale inspections, hang on this week, because something is about to happen that is going to really blow your socks off.
So those videos are on YouTube. Do they have a YouTube channel?
He has a YouTube channel, but the easiest way to go through it is just go through HomeWorthy. He has complete tutorials right there, and it'll just tell you how to set up your account and how to create your account and how to set up all your softwares. And then
I was on the site a little earlier and noticed that he had the typical social connections with Facebook and potentially Twitter. There's a couple of other social sites that they're connected. So I'm sure that there are other ways to catch that. Yeah. Pat, thank you for hanging with us today and sharing the news about HomeWorthy. And we're going to wrap it up here. Any last words that you might want to tell our listeners?
Well, you can, if you have any questions. Basically, the easiest and the best way to find me is on Facebook. If you have Facebook Instant Messenger, just click on me and click in Instant Messenger. That way, if I'm crawling in a crawl space or in the attic or something like that, and I'll hear the Instant Messenger little ding, I'll know that somebody's calling me, because in the Flint Hills, a lot of times our reception goes out. And if you do, you probably will catch Bob himself. He's pretty much on Facebook all the time. So if you're asking anything about HomeWorthy, one of us will give us a call. And, there's no such thing as a dumb question. So
Super. Thanks. And so hang on, folks. Looks like HomeWorthy is something to check out. This is Gary Smith for the Vendor Spotlight on today's Home Inspector. Talk soon.